Some of those decisions relate to the way in which we deal with the distribution of hampers for care packaging. We took the view that this was going to be a long-term matter, and therefore a one-time distribution of items to some communities would not suffice. Because in the long run, somebody who receives a package in April most likely will be looking to receive a package in May, in June, in July, and you go on like that. So that as a government, we have thought it necessary to look at this matter in a strategic and in a long-term way. And therefore what we've asked is that the distribution of hampers in the way it was going, that we put a pause on that. That those items which are here now, that is, I believe there are about 3,000 items or so, that we will allow those to be distributed under some new guidelines. But going forward, we will have to ensure that we put in place some different systems. And what I'm talking about is a system that identifies who are the vulnerable in our society. In the past, we have used certain lists to determine who are the persons that are vulnerable. But in this pandemic, we have a situation in which people who were not vulnerable before the pandemic, but has become vulnerable now. For example, there are persons who have lost their livelihood because of the restrictions on persons assembling. Persons who have been dismissed from their jobs. Persons who are at home and cannot move. And so what we have to do, we are putting in place arrangements now that will A, facilitate distribution of items, and B, facilitate the distribution of checks or food vouchers to allow for those persons to benefit from it. What we are doing now, we are setting up, in fact we have set up a database which will allow for persons who are affected to register on that database to say, look, I am a vulnerable person, I have been unemployed, and therefore I am requesting assistance. Once that is done, the Ministry of Social Protection will do a check on those applications. And once we are satisfied that those are persons who are vulnerable and who satisfy those requirements, then we will make a determination as to who gets a care package or who gets a voucher for them to go and actually buy these foodstuff at various places. So we are open to employ a more scientific basis for the distribution, as we believe it is going to be for a longer period, and therefore what we have to do now is to increase the capacity of the Civil Defense Commission to be able to manage an operation that is for a longer period and is across the country for all the citizens of Guyana. From all of the assessments I am seeing, it would appear as if we will be subjected to the coronavirus restrictions going into 2021. There are some countries that have actually projected that it will go up to 2022. But our situation here in Guyana is that we have issued instructions, we have issued guidelines for emergency measures with respect to COVID. And in the first instance, those measures cover up to the 5th of May, 2020. However, it seems from when I'm looking at the figures now, that the curve is still going in an upward direction, and therefore we have to ensure that we take those measures that are necessary to flatten the curve. When we compare ourselves with countries in this region, it seems as if we are moving in the wrong direction. And so I want to appeal to all Guyanese to heed the instructions given with respect to social distances, with respect to staying at home and working from home, and unless it is absolutely necessary that you be on the road, that you stay at home.